نانو راديو دمص إيرترا DC إيو راديو دمص إيرترا DC كرام قدام بمنقد مربب حبريتا اب voiceoferitrea.com ويون بمنقد يوتيوب تقمط واشنطن دي سن كبابيان كمون نملع علم يفنو كبرات تخطاتلتن سمعتن راديونا كماي كنيكم كاب دمصخم زخنت راديو دمص إيرترا እናበልኩ ናይሎን ቀዳም ጥሪ 13/24 ወይ ድማ 13th of January 2024 መሰናዶ ዜናና ነው ምክትታልኩም ድማ በትሕትና ይዕደም ቀዳማይ ዜና ካብ ከተማ ኣስመራ ኤርትራ ወኪልና ጋዜጠኛ ገረመስቀል ገረዝጊሄር ካልኣይ ቃለ መሕትት ምስው ሃገራዊ ጋዜጠኛ ቶማስ ማውንቴን ሞጣባ ኤርትራ ኣመርኪቱ ዝሃቦ ትንታኔ ካልእን ደመልከተ ክኸውን እዩ ኣመንጎ በነባታ استفላለዩ ምልክታን ሓበረታን ንዓኻትኩም ኣዛናግዕ ዝብልና ሙዚቃን ኣዳሊና ኣሎና ኣብዚ ናይ ሎማዓንቲ መደባትና ምሳና ሓቢርኩም ክትጸንሑ እንዳተላበኹ ሰናይ ምክትታል ክኾነልኩም ብስም ቦርድ ድምፂ ኤርትራ DC ይምነየልኩም ሰናይ ምክትታል
ينافقك عاد ينافقك عاد
ካብዚ ካብ ዋሽንግተን DC ሬድዮ ድምፂ ኤርትራ ዝመሓላለፍ ዘሎ መደባትኩም ተከታተሉ ዘለኹም ክቡራት ሰማዕትና በመቀጠል ዜና ካብ ከተማ ኣስመራ ነው
ሰላም ዝኸበርኩም ተከታተልቲ ድምፂ ኤርትራ ከመይ ቀኒኹም ካብዚ ካብ ከተማ ኣስመራ ከምትልምድ ዜናታት ሒዘልኩም ቀሪበ ኣለኹ ከተከታተሉ ድማ ብኽብሪ ዕደም ፕሬዚደንት ኢሳያስ አፈወርቂ ካብ ፕሬዚደንት ግብፂ ዓብደልፈታሕ አልሲሲ ዝተላእከ መልእኽቲ ቅድሚ ሳልስተ ተቐቢሉ ቀንዲ ትሕዝቶ ናይቲ ሚኒስተር ጉዳያት ወፃኢ ግብፂ ሳምሕ ሽኩሪ ሒዝዎ ዝመፀ መልእኽቲ ኣብ ምዕዛዝ ክልተ ኣውዝ ዝምድና ኤርትራን ግብፅን ከምኡውን ሓበራዊ ኣገዳስነት ኣብ ዘለዎም ጉዳያት ዘተኮረ እዩ ብሓሙስ ምሸት ኣብ ኣዳራሽ ደንደን ኣብ ዝተኻየደ ርክብ ፕሬዚደንት ኢሳያስን ሚኒስተር ሳምሕ ሽኩሪን ኣብ ኣገዳስነትን ምምኻርን ምውሃድን ኤርትራን ግብፅን ከምኡውን ኣብ ህሉ ዞባውን ኣህጉራውን ብድሆታት ኣመልኪቶም ተዘራሪቦም ድሕረት ርክብ ሚኒስተር ጉዳያት ወፃኢ ግብፂ ሳምሕ ሽኩሪ ንዑደቱ ኣብ ኤርትራ መልኪቱ ኣብ ዝሃቦ መግለፂ እቲ ምብፃሕ ኣካል ናይቲ ኣብ መንጎ ክልቲአን ሃገራት ዝግበር ስሩዕ ናይ ምምኻርን ምብፃሕን ከምኡውን ነቶም ኣቐድም ኣቢሎም ስምምዕ ዝተገበረሎም ጉዳያት ከም ዘጠቃልል ገሊጹ እዚ ከምዚ ኢሉ እንከሎ ፕሬዚደንት ዓብደልፈታሕ አልሲሲ ፕሬዚደንት ኢሳያስ ናብ ግብፂ ዑደት ከካይድ ዕድመ ኣቕሪቡሉ ኣሎ أقدمهم منستر عثمان صالحن منستر سامح شكرا أبتمسسالي زعبتات زبيانيام بريزيدنت فدرالوية الريبابليك الصومالية حسن شيخ محمود أبزي صومنزي أب إيرترا نايكلت معلتات عدد دحرة مفصام بسولست شعات تريون أب هابور تماليسو بريزيدنت حسن شيخ محمود أب إيرترا بصنحلن كلت معلتات مس بريزيدنت إيساس أفوركي أب كلت أون زباون علماون قدات بسفحون بعمقة زاتيام كلت يوم مرحتي بخلت أون التحبارن من مللاءن أوشت الصفح الزباوي من مللاء أبركعم كسرحو أبرسي مسلم معهم بستفل عليه تخطافي أجندات ناب قبر ملساوي أكايدا كيف دنادنو بعقلن هنا سمتن كسرحو ترزاديام من قصة إرترا بوغنو بزي حسير مجلس زي كي تدرته نخلهم كل تعاون زباون أرستات هاب كربا أوان صفيح نظرتات كهبالهم كم زخونة بزبدات أمز حبير الله بريزيدنت فدرالوية ريبابليك صوماليا حسن شيخ محمود عدتو أب إرترا زازيمون ناب هاقلو كأدمي مبقاسو نسأقل بلس إلى إرترا أبزكايدو على محتد كأند عدتو ناب إرترا بمسابة كأسأل من مخخار كجبر أقدم بالبس تجبر سمع مخانو دحر مجلس أب صوماليا نزل كونتاتن رجعتن تمرة صوماليا أب مفتار نزك هبزل سعرن لبريزيدنت إيساس أفوركي مجلسيو قبل كاليسو ኤርትራ معنا الصوماليين جزانا زبالة بريزيدنت حسن الشيخ محمود دقف إيرترا نلولاونتن جزاتا وحبنتن صوماليا فالسيمو زيك إيري قبل دما بتوسخي زلو أمنت جليسو أذن أصغى نقفا بوحج ماي ستيو زخارمان كدني سلسة وارح أبا بمحضرات كبابي أقرع العلن أقرع تحتن أبا استفهلا أبا أستفكر التشحن 300 هكتار مريض زيتزر مشلا أبا صبق درجة بسيحو كم زركد كمون ربح أتذكر خو تسفى أمبيرام كم زلو حرستوف قليسام أما محضر كبابي أقرع العلن أقرع تحتن كابز حلف أوارح جميل دحام زرق حزلو زنافسل الزنبه أبا مرقات مجلس 7 تريتن العلا استواصل كله يتبهي لله إذا كان زيلن كلنا برتي من محضرات كبابي أقرعنا بتاريخ أو الدفعات حزبا وسراوي الزنبرة من دعات تتسن زأتو 15 كيلومتر سفرقها أبا نسقاني ركب اللهم من دعات تكسن حزبا وسراوي مع 10 عمتات عريضو عمود أتان نادو إز دم سسلو كبابيتات سقما يقنبار كتمانا أفاقينو اتي دفعات تقادل تبعلو مستزنبرة كبيد من رضراب السنيوو تابا عندب مركبنا ماي ماو تابا تأمنن انداسقا تابا وفيات ماي كلاشن سالفر تكسي تابا حمغشتي كوبانيا من دعات خون كله دفعات يمانا يقنبار نقفا دما دندن فيدل بي تابا سلان جلوب ريغولي لاجين فيرنيلو تيستا زتقال اليوم إذا دفعات زي بلصات استغفلون أمانو كي ترفز مدنا نصنعات تقادل تزمسكرو نقف حنصر حرام سوسات زيد فرو أمود داتا دما لعلي 14 سراويت مجزاتي بس 10 تانكتاتن أما إيد كبتو بلتن رشاتاتن زنبرو نادو إزي حمد استدفنا له تاريخ ودفعاتن هزبي ببعمتو نسل زخري زوزحو بوتازاتنيو أبزز حلفت عمد كل التشحن 23 أبزي أبوشت كتما أسمرا أفتحت قلسي ماي كتران ترقيا أستا 35 مليون نقفة وسائب المقوار صرحات كم زكاية من محدار زوبا مأكل أبزي صمر زقاليسو أبكل تشحن 23 من محدار زوبا مأكل مسارة أو سجنسات كابز قبر اللهم مسمراتن قدنساتن أبكبابيتات ميركاتو شرحي كالاي مدبر بوليس قدايف عداد حمسن أبكال كبابيتاتن زركا مخان حبيروم زي كازي بروجكتات هنسا أب مكتتال بروجكت معقاب ورشا حدشتن زمحيشن هنساتات تحت غرسي أب مفتاشن مسرعن أب معبال حملاي بوتاتات أب مسقان مدبرات مساري ماين ساعات إلكتريسيتين بجنزبن زي تمن سرحات كم زكاية من محدار زوبا معكل بتوسخ قليسوم كان من محدار زوبا معكل استرخ بحبريتا بتوسخي أبزي حيزنا يزلنا عم تغلطشحن 24 عبي كل حد خطوه هيبوهم كاب السر حلم مدبات المعاف وفراو مقراب نسقان ماي كتران سرجاتات وحدي محبرو أدرقلت من ملاء مخانو أفليتهم أبتقم قام سرح استخيب الأخيرة كاب هزبز قربوا حسابات أبقترات سوبا مأكل زرائز أجن نبو عزيا فتح كد اللي يلو أبوش كتما أسمرا دما مسمرات رسحان سوريين فساسي متعرى كقبر اللهم كاب زغربوه قلي نتفتاتها كوبانيا مقعزي حالتها بزومن زي كاب كتما من دفرانا بندفع والتا نوزوبا من حيلي حدش مسمر بمفات تملالسيت أوتوبوس مديبوم أفتكبابي رؤيس أجن مقعزيا من بارو زفلت خوينو أبزقوان زقن فتح بمركابو فزبي تكبابا حبوسو قليس اللهم بز مسارة زي تتكن تزغون عدتات عد عنديل طافا ترينتا مدفع والتا دخول عري متاغي مسافرهم عد عركاين كالوتم تتكن تخوين مالوام أمن الزراء أمن حيلي تركب من محدار كبابي مدفع والتا كان من دفران شرف دوبا ومبراء 3 كيلومتر رحيقات تركب عديان أب حدا عمد 4 جزية بالمحراسن بمزرعن بركوت مرتي أحملتن فرطاتن كحفص بقي عمزلو أبن الزراء هاي كوتا أب جماعة دم رواتات قاشن قراشان زركب حرستات نعدقاتات كبابي يوم عقيدهم كنوك خودك إلهم كمزلو أب السمن زحابيرام أتم حرستات على المعتي جرادين نزقتات زي كرخو الزبقعو زمناو كني كلاو الدخعي كاب متكام تناقفهم بحرياو الدخعي بمتكام مخانو قريسام كبابي قاشن قراشان مسناو حرشا مشو بمخانو قبل معت حملتن فرساتن زتوافر حرصات من نبابرم زرع الدرجة كم حيشو بقيعم كم زلو أتم على المعت جرادين بتوسخ عربيام كان دي بمحايز رباطات قاش باركان ستيسن زت قامن بمزحي حملتن فرساتن زفريون حرصات نصان زباطات هاي قطرن في السنين يوم 95 مئታዊ ተካፍተን ማጦ ዞባ ጋሽባርካ ብሕርሻ ዝመሓደር ክኸውን ከሎ ካብ 9 ብሄራት ኤርትራ እተን 8 ብሄራት ማለት ቁናማ ዳውየት ናራ ትግራይ ትግርኛ ራሻይዳ ሳሆን ብሌንን ዝነብሩላ ምዃኖም ዝፍለጥ እዩ ተቀማጠ መምሕዳር ከባቢ ደቀም ሓደ ድንበዛን ንኡስ ዞባ ኣተከለዛን ኣብቲ ከባቢ ኣብ መስራሕ ዲጋን ዝርከቡ ኣባላት ሓይልታት ምክልኻል ኤርትራ ክፍለ ሰራዊት 63 ኣብዚ ሰሙን እዚ ናይ ምስሕን ምዝንጋዕን እንግዶት ገይሮምላ ኣብቲ ኣመሓዳር ዞባ አንሶባ ኣምባሳደር ዓብደላ ሙሳን ከምኡውን ኣዛዚ እዚ ማእከል ብሪጋደር ጀነራል ተክለ ከፍላይን ኣብ ዝተረኽብሉ መደብ ተቀማጠ ደቀም ሓደ ሓይልታት ምክልኻል ኤርትራ ገጾም ናብ ልምዓት ብምምላስ ኣብ ህንፀት ዲጋታት ደቀም ሓረን ደቂ ገብሩን ኣብ ህንፀት መባእታ ቤት ምትሃብረን ደቃን ንዝገብርዎ ዘለዉ ኣበርክቶ ብምንኣድ ምስጋንኦም ኣቅሪቦም ብዋጋ ህይወትን ደምን ጀጋኑ ውሕስቲ ኮይና ዘላ ኤርትራ ንምልማዕ ከም ወትሩ ድልዋት ኣለና ዝበለ ኣዛዚ ክፍለ ሰራዊት 63 ሌተናል ኮሎኔል መንግስቱ ሳሙኤል ማርቶቭ እቲ ብተቀማጠ ደቀም ሓረን ዙርዓት ክልዛን ዝተወደበ መደብ ንውህደት ህዝብን ሰራዊትን ዘንጸባርቕን ወኒ ስራሕ ዘበርኽን ከም ዝኾነ ገሊፆም እዛ ኣብ ደረጃ ምዝዛን በፂሓ ዘላ ዲጋ ደቀም ሓረ ልዕሊ 40,000 ኪቢክ ሜትር ማይ ናይ መሓዝ ዓቕሚ ክህልዋ እንከሎ ኣብ ሕርሻዊ ልምዓት እቲ ከባቢ እጃም ክህልዋ ትፅቢት ነበርቲ እቲ ከባቢ ምዃኑ ተገሊፆም እዚ ከምዚ ኢሉ እንከሎ ኣምባሳደር ዓብደላ ሙሳን ብሪጋደር ጀነራል ተክለ ከፍላይን እግረ መንገዶም ዲጋ ደቂ ገብሩ በፂሓቶ ዘላ ደረጃ ብምዕዛብ ኣብ መድባት ልምዓት እቲ ከባቢ ብዛዕባ ዝህልዋ ተራ ምስ ሞያውያን ተዘራሪቦም በመሕዳር ከባቢ ደቀም ሓረ ኣብ መስመር ኣስመራ ከረም ኣብ 38 ኪሎ ሜትር እትርከብ ዓባይ ዓድያ ኣብነ ዞባ ሰልዓ ፈቆደ ጎቦታትን ስንጭረታትን ፋሒሎም ዝነበሩ ኣባላት ብሄረ ብዳውየት ንምጥርናፎም ዝተኻየደ ፃዕሪ ፅቡቅ ውፅኢት ይርከቦ ከም ዘሎ በመሕዳር ዞባ ሰልዓ ኣብ ሰሙን ዝሓቢሩ በዚ መሰረት እቲ ምምሕዳር ምስ ሚኒስትር ዕዮን ማሕበራዊ ድሕነትን መሻርክቲ ኣካላትን ብምትሕብባር ገንዘባውን ዓይነታውን ሓገዝ የበርክታሎ ጎንጎንቲ መንግስቲ ጽሩይ ስተማይ ክረኽቡን ጥዕናኦም ክሕሎን ደቀም ከምሩ ዘካይድ ዘሎ ጻዕሪ ኣብዚ ሰሙን እዚ ብመንእሰያት ሰራሕተኛታት መንግስቲ እቲ ንዞባ ዝተዋፅአ ኣስታት 81,000 ነቐፋት ዓዲሎም ከም ኣካል ናይ ዝመደብ እዚ ድማ ቤት ጽሕፈት ሚኒስትሪ ዕዮን ማሕበራዊ ድሕነትን ን336 ጽጉማት ናይ ኣልባሳት ሓገዝ ኣበርኪቱ ብኻልእ ወገን ድማ ኣብ ንዞባ ኣቑርደት ነበርቲ ምምሕዳር ከባቢ ጉስጢ ኣብ ውሑስ ከባቢ ሳላ ዝተጠርነፉ ተጠቀምቲ መሰረታዊ ማሕበራዊ ኣገልግሎት ክኾኑ ከም ዝበቕዑ ኣብዚ ሰሙን እዚ ገሊፆም እቶም ዜጋታት ኣብ ዝሃብዎ ሓበሬታ ኣቐዲሙ ኣብ ፋሕ ዝበለ ቁሸታት ሰበኽ ዳግማዊ ህይወት ከም ዝነበሮም ብምግላጽ ካብ ኣቑርደት ኣብ ቀረባ ርሕቀት ኣብ ዝርከብ ቦታ ድሕሪ ምጥርናፎም ኣገልግሎታት ትምህርቲ ጥዕናን ጽሩይ ስተማይን ተዋዲድሎም ርጉእ ህይወት ይመርሑ ከም ዘለው ብፍላይ ኣብ ትምህርቲ ረኺቦም ዘለዉ ዕድል ዝምስገን ምዃኑ ሓቢሮም ኣብታ ጠርኒፋቶም ዘላ ዓዲ ብግዝያውነት ኣብ ዳሳት ኣገልግሎት ክትህብ ፀንዐት ናይ መባእታ ቤት ትምህርቲ ብዘበናዊ ኣገባብ ብምህናፃ ተሳትፎ ተምሃሮ ቆልዑ እናዕበየ ምምፅኡ ብተወሳኺ ተሓቢሮም ዝኸበርኩም ተኸታተልቲ ድምፂ ኤርትራ ኣብ ዝሓለፈ ሰሙን ብዜና ከም ዝሓበርክዎ ኣብ ንዞባ ፎሮ ፈቆደ ጎቦታት ፋሒለን ዝነበራ 7 ቁሸታት ተጠቀምቲ ማሕበራዊ ኣገልግሎት ክኾና ምእንቲ ኣብ ሓደ ማእከላይ ቦታ ክጥርነፋ መተሓሳሰቢ ቀሪቡ እዩ ኣብ መወዳእታ ዜና መስዋእቲ قديم تجداليت ورقو زرعي أما بل 75 عمت عدمئة تسويات مالي عربي سنة سرعات كبرى أب مغابر حربين أسمرا تفسيمون عشان تعطي 207 حدا تحيشة أب زفلت مستيرا ودابة هزبا وحيثة توديبا هقراوك ألسا ناس أنت أبدي سابا زفلمت تجداليت ورقو زرعي أو إحنا قابيت عشان تعطي 273 مع ميدا وريدة أب مسارع هزبا وحيثة حرمة إيرترا بحمرين سنبارا بتواقع السراويت كفل حكمنا كفل هزباو ممحدار البوليتيكاو من نقاح ابها ماداكم اون اب كوميسيون قداي ارتاويان سدتنيات جبا بالسفر اللي صفحي حلافنت نهزبان هاجرن بتوفاينت سغلغلت حربنيا هزباو حيلتات اقدروا تخلو ابزنبرلو صنكر اوان كابستسلفا وحدات قدامت دقنستي زخونت قديم تغداريت ورقو زرعي ادحنتي ولاديام بار زي خبركم تخاتلت الدمس إيرتران اللي مسترلو زينتات بس تفسيم الله مزغدام سام الراخب حنكنيهم
ኣገዳሲ ሓበሬታ ንደለይቲ ገዛ ናይ ልዕሊ 18 ዓመት ተመክሮ ዘለዎ ኣብ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲን ቨርጂኒያን ሜሪላንድን ፍቓድ ዝውንን ብቋንቋኹም ዝረዳዳእኩም ሳመር ሪልተር ኣለኩም መገዲ ምስ ወዲ ዓዲ ከም ዝበሃል ገዛ ክትሸጡን ክትገዝኡን ምስ ደልዩውን ዕግበት ዓማዊሉ ዝኾነ መኽሰቡ ሳመር እምባየ ይኹን ምርጫኹም ትርጉም ናይ ምንባር ደሚቓ መታን ክሕሎ ሚዛና መንበሪ ባይታ ነጣጥሕ ናተይ እንብሎ ገዛና ምስ ህላወና ድስጉም ክብሪ ውሕስነት ዕቤትና ብድርብ መኽሰብ ዝኽሕስ ኣበይ ክርከብ ከም ቤትና እወ መፍትሕ ገዛውትና ንዕተር ምስ ሰመረ እምባየ ሪልተር
ተወሳኺ ሓበሬታ ንኹልኩም ሸየጥቲ ገዛ ዓማዊልና ብ1% ጥራሕ ሙሉእ ኣገልግሎት ክንበኩም ተዛሊና ከም ዘለና ንሕብር
ንዝያዳ ሓበሬታ ኣብ ቁፅሪ ስልኪ 703 2171200 እንደገና ቁፅሪ ስልኪ 703 2171200 ሳመር እምባየ ኢልኩም ተወከሱ
ክቡራት ተኸታተልቲ ሬድዮ ድምፂ ኤርትራ ኣስዒብና ቃለ መሕተት ምስ ህቡብ ኣህጉራዊ ጋዜጠኛ ቶማስ ማውንቴን ንእዋናዊ ፖለቲካ ኩነታት ዘመልከተ ነቕርበልኩም To begin with, Thomas, Happy New Year to you and your family.
Yeah, same to you.
I'm also thankful for your time to provide your knowledge on the current events on the Horn of Africa. And to begin my question, Eritrea's country neighbors, in particular Ethiopia and Sudan, are embroiled in civil wars. Eritrea's hope for trade and business with its neighbor countries have become fruitless. What are the short-term prospects for trade and investment with Chinese and Russian partners?
Well, right now Eritrea is sort of beginning of kind of a boom in mining. I mean, they've got the Bisha site, Harena site has been exploited, and Zara is still going on, and now the Asmara mine is about to come online. They've been exporting raw ore from the Barwa, and they're working on the potash mine. So Eritrea is sort of kind of self-sufficient in the sense that with the mining income, they don't really dependent on trade with their neighbors. So Eritrea is doing okay. I mean, things are definitely going to be getting better once the cash flow starts coming in from the new copper mine in Ambaturho. That'll be a big boost. And then when the potash mine goes online, eventually, maybe in a couple of years, then that'll even be a bigger cash boost. So Eritrea's got a steady cash flow coming in, and it's not dependent on its neighbors. But now Ethiopia, they're right now, the situation is growing increasingly critical for the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's mafia and control of Ethiopia. I mean, recently the Ethiopian Amhara Fano army captured, a town that puts them within striking distance of Addis Ababa. This is the farthest that TPLF got to close to capturing Addis Ababa in 2021. So, this makes Abiy Ahmed very nervous. And then, just a couple of days ago, they announced that they captured Gondar. And the thing is, they capture the city, they secure it, then they finally withdraws to the forest so that they're not easy targets for the drones that the UAE has been supplying to Abiy Ahmed's army. The situation, Abiy Ahmed's military has been deteriorating pretty fast. I mean, it's and Ethiopia is bankrupt. I mean, they're officially in default now with all the rating agencies. They couldn't make their last $33 million payment to, I think it was the IMF. And so they're now rated as in default. They can't borrow any money. I mean, they had a $5 million payment they were supposed to make to the African Development Bank, which they didn't. Reports are that it was embezzled. And and when the African Development Bank staff met with them, they beat the ADB people up. And then the ADB announced that they're leaving Ethiopia. And when the Abiy Ahmed and the finance minister met with the African Development Bank people, the ADB people actually recognized the bodyguards of the finance minister as the people that beat them up. So I mean, this is like Abiy Ahmed's government's degenerated into a mafia, and they've been embezzling a lot of money. That's where all this, they can't pay their bills because they're stashing that money in their accounts in Dubai and other places. So it's the crisis is just going from bad to worse for the government in Ethiopia, and the Amhara Fano army is I don't think it's a secret that Eritrea has been supporting them. I mean, some people deny it, but it's Eritrea and the Fano were the ones that really defeated the TPLF in 2021, 2022. It really wasn't the Ethiopian government army. If anything, Abiy Ahmed's government, the army, the official army, was actually stabbing both parties in the back. So, they had a strong working relationship between Fano and Eritrea to get rid of the TPLF. And I think, I'm kind of optimistic about Fano coming in and taking over Ethiopia and getting rid of Abiy Ahmed and bringing peace to the country finally. My estimation is maybe 6 months Abiy Ahmed's got left in power because, I mean, other than a major intervention by some foreign power, I mean, the UAE's been involved supporting Abiy Ahmed, has been keeping him in power. But other than a major intervention from some outside forces, I don't think Abiy Ahmed will last more than another 6 months. I may be wrong. He may last longer than that. But the situation is going increasingly critical for him.
Never-ending war sanctions have made the Eritrean economy weak. Support from Eritrean citizens in the country and in diaspora have kept the Eritrean economic survival intact. So this issue now of Ethiopian expansion into Somalia and to Eritrea, how does this impact on Eritrean economic plan for development?
Well, I think President Isaias has been pretty realistic about how much he can count on trade with his neighbors, and I think he's made a point of being economically independent and self-sufficient. I mean, he's put a great deal of effort into water and food security to make sure Eritreans can feed themselves. As far as the Chinese and the Russians are coming in with some very important projects, but Eritrea is not a country that just takes anything foreign aid that's handed out to it. The foreign aid has got to be to create self-sufficiency in Eritrea with a minimum of imports required to maintain the programs that are coming in. So, I mean, the good thing is Eritrea's mining industry is steadily growing, and it's step by step, it's going to put Eritrea on the map towards, $1 billion a year coming into the country. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for a country of about 4 or 5 million people. And with that money used wisely, the country is going to grow, develop. You're going to see a lot of developments in infrastructure, improvements in education and health and housing, in transport and infrastructure. So, I see Eritrea, slow but steady wins the race, right? That's why I see Eritrea headed. But so, I think the Abiy Ahmed, the fact that he announced this memorandum of understanding with the warlord head of Somaliland, is just a couple of days after the Fano reached, within striking distance of Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. So I think this was just a big smokescreen to try to win some support from the Amhara people away from Fano, and saying, look, I'm going to get you a port, nobody else could, but I'm going to get it, and it's going to be in Somaliland. And, this was all just smoke and mirrors. And it's not going to happen. And it is the military of the Ethiopian, what's left supporting Abiy Ahmed, is in no position they can't even defeat Fano, so they're in no position to go and intervene any place else. So I'm not really worried about that happening, any kind of military conflict. I think, Abiy Ahmed is he's going to get run out of town. But, Sudan now, Eritrea's had hope in Sudan too, but, Sudan broke down into a civil war starting last April, and the situation there is developed steadily, unfortunately, in favor of General Hameti, who's head of the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF. I mean, Hameti was he's captured like 90% of Sudan. I mean, he's I think the last stronghold of General Burhan's Sudan army and Omdurman and part of Khartoum is the last major stronghold, is now surrounded and being attacked. There's fighting going on as we speak. Only the capital in Darfur is left that's under control of Sudan's army, and they're surrounded and the logistics are cut off. And the reports we're getting today was that they're trying to arrange a surrender of the town, Al-Fashir, in the capital of Darfur. So, I mean, once all of Khartoum and Omdurman is is under RSF control and all of Darfur. That only leaves East Sudan under control of Port Sudan, really control of General Burhan. Now, Eritrea has been very leery. I mean, Isaias met for a couple of days with Hemeti before him, and Hemeti must have, I think he promised Isaias a bunch of stuff and broke his promises. He came back and then launched this attack to, against Burhan's army, but he's been successful, and the UAE's played a role in all this. And the fact that Abiy Ahmed was in Ethiopia meeting with Abiy Ahmed, the Hemeti was meeting with Abiy Ahmed in Ethiopia, is a bad sign. I mean, that, Abiy is shaky. He's got UAE support, and that, and Hemeti's going around meeting with Museveni and Uganda and Salva Kiir in South Sudan, and, trying to play the future president of Sudan, which I don't know. That's kind of makes me nervous because, he's kind of a shaky character, and I don't think he's a trustworthy character. But that's where things stand right now. And so, I mean, Eritrea is, at this point, it's got his hands full diplomatically trying to bring peace to his big neighbors, and working with Somalia, but trying to bring peace to Ethiopia and bring peace to Sudan as best they can. But, in the meantime, Eritrea is steadily progressing ahead. I mean, their mining industry is going to get a lot of foreign currency coming into the country, and they're working hard with the Chinese and the Russians, educating a new generation of technicians and engineers and other people to, modernize Eritrea. I mean, Eritrea is going to be, in 10 years from now, is going to make major step towards modernization, and their economy is going to be developing. And so it's like I say, slow but steady wins the race. Eritrea has never been in a rush with foreign aid, but they develop slowly. But there's been signs that a lot of the young bloods are getting some more responsibility. The energetic guys that want to, see things moving. Some of the old timers in the economic front and the PFDJ are now being sidelined and sitting, or no longer in the front and center. So, Isaias has had a plan for a long time, and he's starting to implement it. And he's, a lot of the young guys that he's known and mentored for years now, he's starting to give them more responsibilities, so that there's a new energy in Eritrea from the younger guys coming up, and Isaias is leading all of this.
Okay, Thomas, I appreciate your analysis. At the end, anything you want to say?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen in Ethiopia. I mean, but it looks like Abiy Ahmed is going to be gone, and I think that's a big breakthrough for the Horn of Africa, because he's turned into a real gangster. So I think that's something good, and then what Fano's going to have to step up and take over. They're the only real military in the country, and that's going to be a tough one for them. But I think with Eritrea's support and guidance, they'll be able to do that. So I think it's things. Sudan, now that's another story. That's a bad one. But Eritrea, I mean, I'm impressed by how Eritrea's headed. I mean, the Chinese and the Russians are coming in with aid projects that Eritrea knows what they want, and they're getting their help there. The next big project is the potash, and I think that's sort of being held up by the need to build a railroad for long-term investment from the Kolouli plant to the port, built it on the coast there, the Red Sea, so that they don't have to go through all the shipping to Massawa and trucks and all that. So I think this adds another $100 million to the projected cost of the project, and I think the Chinese are having to come up with some new financing for that. But once that gets going, then they've got 500,000 tons of potash coming out of the country for 5 years, and then after that they're going to upgrade to 1 million tons, and this is potash that's running upwards of $1,000 a ton on the international market. So you're talking about $1 billion a year just out of that mine. So, that's a lot of money for a little country like Eritrea. And that's the next big step. We're waiting for that. In the meantime, all we can do is just say, hey, it's a bad neighborhood, and Eritrea is the island of stability in this horn of hunger and famine.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate, again, Happy New Year for you and your family.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Bye.
ሕልሚ ዝደቀሰ እዩ ዝሓልም بدقوس كايخون بقهدي حلم ختحلم زخلكلك كاسب يلن قبل علي إرترا حلم خاخد تكبر مستفتنجن واقع خد كفل اللو مخانكا آي تزنقع صوت بزيحو مستنقبارري بخراري كل سنجميري بخراري كل سنجميري جزي اقر تخلي كسابت فتصامي نخوانا عبسي نقعنا سقني بالقنة الدبي ساحل دقيقوني بالقنة الدبي ساحل دقيقوني
የአይናችሁ ቀለም አላማረኝ የምናውጡ ካለ ኢትዮጵያ መንግስት መውጣት ነው ያለባቸው የጸጥታ ኃይል ጥያቄ ሳይነስ
አምባሳደራቸው ባድመ ዝጠረሩ ወይስ ልኡኻት ሰላም እግር መኸል ዝሰገሩ تكردي ايديوم عسب زوررو ناي حد بقيحو مسمن كبتصرو بقبات الحلمي كارتا مسحنطتي عيني قاقيو عينو مسفتتي زباني دليو كرمس قلبتي أحواتي نايلوني فقر خمزة غمتي
كمكلاك يا هاي تفلاقي ونو يتقنيو المجا هلو اللي وسط بزاريو كنت أزوال
هزبي عرتا برحاتو زنبر زيناتو زيدل مسوتان تبران زي فقد نسلام نفقري نناصلنتن نصبق قربتنان هيوت زخفلي ورجع حزبي
ملكتا هاجراو شماغلي واشنطن دي سي كبابيان نخلهم تقمتي واشنطن دي سي ميريلاندن هاجراويان إريتراويان بحساب تراخمنا بزعبا مسائنا حبار علاماتنا خمزتي صوعيد نقرب إلت سنبت الرئيس راشومونتن ويدما جانوري 28 2024 إزيه ساعة 3 دحر غدري بوتا كبب إريتراويان 2154 24th place northeast Washington DC 2001 هاجراو شماغلي واشنطن دي سي كبابيان
كبرى سمعتنا بنايلوم معلتي مرباتنا عجيبكم كتكونوا تسفى أقبر
وكاب حارنا